Parks.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Well, with much fanfare over the weekend, the Labor, New South Wales and federal governments announced they had arrived at an agreed gun buyback scheme. Anthony Albanese and Chris Minns proudly stood before the press and confirmed that law-abiding gun owners in New South Wales will be their scapegoats. Months after rushing the new federal reform in, earlier in January this year, the first official agreement between the federal government and any state and territory was confirmed. And what a disaster, Deputy Chair, this was. Close to 1 million law-abiding gun owners around the country, including firearm farmers and sporting shooters and firearm shop owners who watched their businesses evaporate, were presented with this very insulting scheme. Months of confusion, months of inability to plan and months of uncertainty. The announcement was wrapped up with a bow, Deputy Speaker, but it was no gift. It has already been widely criticised by sporting shooters, by farming organisations and by gun shop owners. The New South Wales farmers called it a disgrace that is punishing hard-working farmers who will not receive full and fair compensation for firearms, equipment or ammunition. The New South Wales branch of the Sporting Shooters Association of Australia said it raised more questions than gave answers. Even the Australian Jewish Association have slammed the government as being disgraceful for using the Bondi tragedy as an excuse to target lawful firearms owners. They all want these unfair gun laws repealed. The firearm shop owners are waiting for the punchline. Some have losses climbing into the millions and have lost up to 90% of their gun sales. They have items that were on order that will never, ever be picked up, guns, accessory, ammunition that can now not be sold, and customers who are confused about what it is that they can actually legally buy. They're on their knees. The government's best offer? $25,000. That's $25,000, Deputy Speaker. That does not even touch the sides of the hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars of losses. This is a program clearly devised by people who don't understand or simply don't care. Close to 1 million law-abiding gun owners are being punished for the actions of two extremist Islamic terrorists at Bondi Beach. And there is plenty to show that none of these laws would have made a difference at all. They would not have saved the lives of those who were injured or who died. They would not have stopped the two men who had already illegally acquired weapons. That is why the Nationals are challenging these unfair laws through legislation in this place, and we're the only party to proudly do so. The Firearms Legislation Amendment, repealing unfair gun laws, Bill 2026, restores Commonwealth firearms and importation law to its position before the passage of Labor's Combating Anti-Semitism, Hate and Extremist Firearms Law and Customs Amendments Act 2026. It will repeal these laws and abolish Labor's stalled national gun buyback scheme. New South Wales is the only state that has announced the buyback to this date, and we can already see how inadequate the measures really are. Many other states and territories have simply said, no deal, we don't want anything to do with it. More than 71,000 Australians have signed the petition protesting against these crazy reforms. They were made without consultation. They were made without due consideration. They were made without a practical way forward to those 1 million who have been affected. We don't know how much this will cost, how it will work, how many firearms need to be surrendered. We don't know how deeply those whose livelihoods depend on the firearms will be impacted, although we're certainly starting to begin what that looks like, Deputy Speaker. We don't know how many jobs will go and what the overall impact on our economy will be. Where's the research? Where is the solid plan? And once again, where is the consultation? Deputy Speaker, this is about fairness, this is about evidence, and this is about getting the balance right. And it's not too late. There have been months of confusion, but it can be resolved. Deputy Speaker, we should target terrorists and criminals. Enforce the laws we already have.
The member's time has expired.